Just a day after, Pakistan grandly announced to the world that a thorough clampdown on terror activities had started, we've now seen the Director General of the Interservices Public Relations Wing of the Pakistani Army deny the very existence of the Jaish-e-Muhammed on Pakistani soil. This, when Pakistan wants it to seem to the world that a very serious review is currently underway. Listen once again before I get a whole surfeit of reactions to what the Director General of the Pakistani Army said. He's the man in charge of PR, he's the face of the Pakistani Army. He's denying the very existence of one of his own important strategic assets. This after the Foreign Minister came on record to say Maulana is in Pakistan and that they'd spoken to him after Pulwama. Joining us now for reactions on this, our Strategic Affairs Editor Gaurav Sawant Shivarur joins us as well. Gaurav, to you first. Now, the context is very important. Just in a few days from now, on the 13th and the 14th of March, the United Nations Security Council will determine whether or not the Jaish-e-Muhammed and Maulana Masood Azhar is to be described a globally designated terrorist. Few days before that, the Pak Army, the only body that really matters in Pakistan, says there is no Jaish in Pakistan, Gaurav.
Rahul, this is very typical of Pakistan. It's Pakistani doublespeak. Their civil establishment speaks a different language, their military establishment speaks a different language, and that is how Pakistan gets away with no accountability. And this is almost standard operating procedure in Pakistan. You remember after the parliament attacks in 2001, you and I covered that terror attack on the Indian parliament. Again, Pakistan claimed it will take action. It took no action. It took some sham action for a couple of months against Maulana Masood Azhar and against Hafiz Mohammed Saeed. It was back to business.
They pretended to take action on at least 3 occasions in the past. Yes. After the 2001 parliament attack, after the 2008 Mumbai bomb blast, and also after the Uri attack, making it seem to the world, Shiv, that they want to take action. However, here the contrast is so visible. The Foreign Minister says, I've spoken to Maulana Masood Azhar, our people are in touch with him through those who know him, and the army is denying his existence in Pakistani soil.
You know, this is the second big glaring, double speak from Pakistan in just the last 1 week. The first is, of course, on the question of 2 pilots becoming 1 pilot. Now it's, we're in touch with the leadership of the Jaish-e-Muhammed, and then you've got the DG of the ISPR now saying that there is no Jaish-e-Muhammed in Pakistan. As far as credibility goes, Pakistan's credibility has never been much to speak of anyway, Rahul, but this is a very important time because what we're looking at right now is a time when the world is looking at Pakistan. India has, following all procedures, created and even a dossier on the Jaish-e-Muhammed to present to Pakistan at a time when there is no clarity and no track record of Pakistan ever assisting India as far as an investigation is concerned. So as far as India's agency and government is concerned, I don't think anyone should be surprised that Pakistan is speaking in 2 voices, one the government and one the military.
Listen to Shah Mahmood Qureshi, the highly boisterous Foreign Minister, often loquacious but never completely telling the truth. Here he is saying that yes, the Jaish-e-Muhammed exists on Pakistani soil. He even goes to the extent of saying that Maulana Masood Azhar is very unwell, and they've spoken to him after the Pulwama terror attack. The Pakistani army denying the very existence of the Jaish-e-Muhammed on Pakistani soil at a time when their foreign minister is accepting that he's in hospital, he's unwell, and that they've been in touch with him. Joining us for perspective on this story, I want to introduce first Air Marshal P.S. Ahluwalia, former Air Officer Commanding-in-Chief of the Western Air Command. Jaidev Ranade is a former Additional Secretary in the Research and Analysis Wing. AMAN SINHA is a spokesperson of the BJP. Sanjay Jha is a spokesperson of the Congress. SUSHANT SAREEN is a senior fellow at the Observer Research Foundation. SUSHANT, SAREEN, to you first. This is just 24 hours after the Pakistani Foreign Minister accepted that Jaish exists. He said, we've been speaking to Maulana Masood Azhar. The Pakistani army denies the existence of the Jaish on Pakistani soil.
But, none of this comes as a surprise. This has happened so many times in the past. The only problem from the Pakistani point of view is that they tend to get caught in a web of their own lies. So, for example, if there is no Jaish-e-Muhammed, there is no presence of this organization, then what was the big deal or what was the reason why somebody like Hamad Azhar or Rauf have been arrested or detained? They've not been arrested, they've been detained. What is this whole, this business about that it has been banned by both Pakistan as well as the United Nations, so it does not exist anymore? Well, that was also the case with the Lashkar-e-Taiba / Jamaat-ud-Dawa. but Jamaat-ud-Dawa continued to exist despite being banned by the United Nations. Now, these are the games of deception which the Pakistanis have been playing ever since. We've seen that after 2001, we've seen that after 2008, we've seen that last year when they announced they're banning this organization but never issued the notification. So the court shot it down. They arrested Hafiz Saeed but never presented a case against him. So the courts released him. Courts are used not to prosecute people, they're used to shield people. Now, if that is the kind of attitude and those are the kind of games, I don't think anybody can take the actions which the Pakistanis are taking since yesterday or claim to be taking since yesterday.
Pakistan is under pressure from the Financial Action Task Force. They risk having very severe economic sanctions imposed on them. They want the world to believe that action is being taken, but within 24 hours of the foreign minister saying that Maulana Masood Azhar is in touch with his government, the DG of the ISPR says that there is no Jaish on Pakistani soil at all. What are you making as a top Pakistan expert in RAW? What do you make of this divergence between the Pak army and the Pak government when we were being told that they're both the same thing now?
Well, they are still the same thing, and from their statements itself, it's very clear that they are obfuscating, and they have a long track record of that. If you check what all they have been saying, including, let me take you back to 9/11, when they received an ultimatum from the Americans, they went ahead and changed the name of the charitable, so-called charitable trust that was collecting funds on behalf of the Lashkar-e-Taiba. So they have a long history of duplicity and denial, and I think this time when there are shots, TV shots of Maulana Masood Azhar moving around and Hafiz Saeed moving around, participating in the elections, surrounded by their own bodyguards, etc. Saying that the Jaish doesn't exist is really stretching a point. And I think right now they are under a lot of pressure. So they may even be trying to say that the Jaish doesn't exist. Probably we'll next hear them saying that this Masood Azhar is very unwell and he's just a solitary soul who's in hospital in a bid to try and get out of the sanctions. He's being named in the UN Sanctions Committee. So certainly I think this is duplicitous, and they will continue with
AMAN
this
SINHA of the BJP. What do you make of this completely confounding statement coming from the DG ISPR a day after the Pak foreign minister admitted that his government was in touch with Maulana Masood Azhar, made it seem as if he was unwell and in hospital?
Well, absolutely, Rahul. It's completely laughable and ridiculous. And the miserable lies of Pakistan, they stand exposed before the entire nation, entire world, in fact. And Rahul, let me say that what was Pakistan taking action on yesterday? They said that they are banning Jaish, they are taking some preventive detentions and all these things. As Qureshi said on one hand that he has spoken to Masood Azhar and they have put him under some preventive detention. His brother was put in preventive detention, and on the other hand, army is on a different page altogether. Clearly goes on to reflect that Pakistani army and the civil government is not at all on the same page. They are speaking in divergent voices, and their miserable lies, they stand exposed before the entire world. And today you have also shown the evidence of the potent strikes, air strikes which took place. Rahul, I wish to compliment you and India Today Group for showing all the evidence, and she was also just mentioning some time back that a comprehensive dossier has been given to the government which clearly enunciates how the strike has impacted. Obviously, there was at no point in time we had any doubt in our minds, Rahul, because once the Air Force had made a statement that they hit the target, the desired impact was there to smash the terror infrastructure and all the terrorists who were present there. So I do not see any doubt at all in the part of dispensation here, although there were some doubting Thomases who are going even beyond Pakistani line and saying that
okay, so let me
they
show
want
our
proof. Even
viewers now
Pakistan,
the second interview. It's not just one interview in which the Pak foreign minister accepted that Jaish-e-Muhammed existed on Pakistani soil. There's a second interview to another international media organization where he says pretty much the same thing. Listen once again to Shah Mahmood Qureshi. He's asked the same question. The Pak foreign minister says our people who are known to him are in touch with him. He's saying that about Maulana Masood Azhar. When he's asked the same question about the existence of the Jaish and Maulana Masood Azhar on Pakistani soil, his response is completely the opposite to that of the DG ISPR. So if anybody thought that the Pak army and the Pak government at present are on the same page, SUSHANT, SAREEN, it's quite clear from what we've put out in the manner that we brought it together that this is not the case. Like has been the case in the past, the Pak Prime Minister talks his own language, the Pak army does its own thing.
No, but listen, why do you assume that they are working at cross purposes? I think what Mr. Ranade said is quite correct. It kind of obfuscates the picture, it shows confusion on what exactly the Pakistan government is going to say or do. The Prime Minister will pretend to be actually the chief executive of the country, the man who actually calls the shots, who will claim that the army is behind him, and that now that he has announced that action is going to take place, action will take place, and they'll make a big show about it and then say, well, you know, we tried to crack down on them, but we never found any existence of this group. There was just an odd madrasa in one place, some other religious institution in some other place. So I think that's the way they're going to play this one out, because that's the way they played it out in the past.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.